What up, K Sweezy?
WNOV 860 AM.
I'm just saying, bro. Playing that hat well this morning.
God, no,
I
thank you.
like
Thank you.
that.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
I look good in that.
You
That
probably.
would look good on me.
What else you gonna wear?
That would look good on me.
Well, what else?
Rope to the side. I'm gonna need to get that player.
Where you gonna get it at?
What you mean?
What you mean?
Who got it on?
You got to work for
Work.
it. Work and work. Yeah.
Nah, see, I went to Rihanna.
Work. That works too.
You don't know that one either. You don't know you don't know the way either. Yeah, I know. I'm like,
oh, yeah,
I didn't.
That was a real work song. Taking care of business, woman, can't you see?
Yeah. So, how you doing otherwise besides the fly hat today? How you doing?
What they call the ammonia weather?
Is it?
Caught me.
I mean, you out here with short,
Sexy.
sleeves on.
Hey, sexy comes with, and big sexy
It's
comes
only
with.
supposed to be 50 degrees today, bro.
Yeah.
So what's all of this?
55.
This summering outfit you got.
Got to get prepared.
Looking like you about to, step on the yacht. What's going
Glad
on?
you feel that way.
I'm just saying.
They say you got to.
Why you talking about this ammonia weather? But you out here.
I took advantage of every beautiful
like somebody
day.
gave you a different weather report.
Hey, it's a beautiful morning.
I'm just saying, fam.
Ready, steady.
We got the same weather report. But I feel you though.
Hey.
Breezing through.
Hey, breezing
through. Got a skull cap on.
Right. Yeah.
Right. A hoodie.
Right.
He dressed, like it's about to be 50 degrees outside.
No, but 50 degrees is warm compared to yesterday.
Well, okay, I'll
Gonna
take
be
it.
All right.
I'll take it.
When you stand outside passing out food in 20-degree weather, you feel a little different. But it called me. It's okay. It starts now. I won't have to worry about it later. It's an immune system.
Okay.
Ain't got to take no shots.
Just don't never be easy. Just can't never. Just.
You ask.
Always.
You ask.
Some extra.
You ask.
What up, Mr. Carvey? Somebody hit me up yesterday and said, stop calling that brother Young Carter.
Young Carter.
I was like, show him some respect.
He told you today, didn't he?
Well, that he was the goat. He came in with the
goat head
on.
Might as well put the goat head on and show yourself.
Oh, you gonna scare people? For people that can see us on YouTube and Facebook, oh my God. Carvey, what do you have on your head?
Bye.
Bye. I walked in. I was just like, yeah, that's scary, bro. Hey, but good purpose. Yeah. My man entertains the young ones. And he was like, I'm going to add this to the acts. I'm like, well, let me know so I am not there. I'm just saying. I appreciate it, though. Woo, they nothing like cute. Take that mask off. People be like, thank you, Jesus. So let me do this real quick. I want to remind
you sound like me to have all that, thermal stuff on.
Who? What?
I'm summering. You like, let me. You sound like Keith, little sister.
I'm struggling trying to get. I was listening to myself the other day. You can hear all the little congestion. Mm-hmm. It's and then I always, for some reason, I have a hard time breathing in the studio. Like if I go in the back to cut a commercial, I can't breathe at all in that room. Yeah. So I always have problems. Dude, you gotta take a picture. Carvey, you're ridiculous. You are totally. Don't encourage that.
What does this mean?
Scaring little kids. We all on Facebook. We all on Facebook for foolishness. Somebody hit me up. Yeah, dang, I'm sniffling out here, man. Yeah. So again, make sure you like us. And follow us on Facebook, 860 AM WNOV, and on YouTube, WNOV The Voice, and hit the subscribe button. There were a number of people.
Hit the what button?
Subscribe.
The what?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Yeah.
I can't get it out.
Subscribe.
Subscribe button. Man.
Would mean that much if you ain't get on folks so much.
Yeah, I'm just I'm sorry, what?
So I would say what?
Did you say get on folks?
I would say what?
I mean, it ain't like folks don't come for me. I was listening to Keith's show yesterday. Somebody came for me. It's like, yeah, Basically, people think they all that. I was like,
Exactly.
some people ain't even from here, and they trying to, tell people da da da. I was like, I ain't gotta be from here.
Oh, you know what?
I ain't gotta be from
Yeah,
here. I do the work. Whether I'm from here or not, I
Mm.
do the work. It's people from here don't do nothing. So, I peeped that conversation though yesterday. And then I'm gonna just say this with it being Women's History Month.
Oh,
And
damn,
I just yeah, that's right, boo.
damn.
There are some people that don't do well when folks have confidence. There are some people that don't do well when you know your self-worth. There's some people that don't do well when you don't need affirmations from the rest of the world because you got them at home. I'm that person. I know my
Say it
self
again.
worth. I
I'm that
know
person.
what I bring to the table. I do. And there are folks that get salty with you because you know who you are when you walk into a room. I wish that for everyone. I encourage that for everyone because if you don't know your self-worth, how are other people supposed to ever value you? And if they never do, is my self-worth tied up into what other people think of me? Because if it is, and people decide you're not their cup of tea, then you're, demoralized. You're sad. You dang near suicidal because you're worried about what other people think. And if other people think you are worthy or important or smart or any of that. And women go through that, to a greater degree than men. So I'm just gonna say, because I heard a couple of the remarks yesterday on Keith's show that I believe was directed at me. Make no mistake, I know exactly who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know my value. I know my worth. I know that I add value more often than I detract from a situation. Now, I'm not telling you I won't show my behind. I'm not telling you that I won't make
Her whole
mistakes.
entire.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you I won't make mistakes. But, hopefully y'all do for y'all children what my family did for me, which was to love and nurture and support me and basically make me understand that the sky is the limit.
As long as you keep your head to the sky.
Come on now.
To be optimistic.
So, I just, because that resonated with me, that other people are going to try to tell you what you're not and, what you are. I've had people before say, you think you. I do. I do.
Man.
I do. And hopefully, and I pray for you that you do too. Self-worth starts with self. Did you hear what I just said? Self-worth starts with self. And women, there will be people that will, particularly Black women, because you are outspoken, because you have an opinion, because you are willing to share that opinion, because you don't back down, because you are forceful in providing that opinion or determined. And they will try to tell you, and they put all the negatives in front of your name. The aggressive, the overbearing, the bullying, the this, the that. No, I'm not. Because if I was a dude, nobody would have anything to say.
They just knock you out.
No, wouldn't nobody knock me out.
No, I'm saying if you was a dude, because dudes do it different. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, but they wouldn't knock that dude out either. Bruhs talk trash all the time. Bruhs come strong all the time. Nobody has anything to say. But a sister comes strong. Oh, she this, she that. So in Women's History Month, as we talk about the struggles that it requires to be of the female persuasion in this joint in America and around the world, quite frankly, man, give your girls what they need to be out here to fight.
Amen.
Give them what they need to stand, stand tall, stand strong. Let them understand their power. Because people will try to take it from you. And people will try to make you think it's something wrong with you because you're willing to exercise your voice. This ain't 1950, 1930, 1845, 1619. This ain't none of that. As we talked yesterday about the role of women in securing the right to vote for women, and people don't appreciate the women who were beaten and abused and just mistreated because they wanted to do what many of you won't do, which is go into a polling location and cast a ballot. because you don't see the value in it. You're too busy for it. Whatever is the reason that some people don't vote. And then, it was funny when I was talking about the history of women's voting. State Representative Lakeisha Myers, who is a, history teacher by trade, what is it, world history or social studies? I forgot exactly what her discipline is. But one of the things she said when I was talking yesterday, she said, and remember that the women in other countries, they wasn't playing. They was bombing stuff. They was bombing buildings. You're not gonna let me vote? You're not gonna let me participate? Yeah, they started tearing stuff up. We was doing silent protests here, hunger strikes, marches. So, I'm just saying, you gotta appreciate how you judge people, and if we apply the same standards to everybody by way of people expressing themselves and dealing with, information. I see I got a call on the line. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning.
Hey. Good morning, Michelle. I kind of caught the tail end of that exchange, if you want to put it mildly, when Meach called in
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and you allow Meach to call in all the time, and I really don't agree with his political views. I think it's just ridiculous. But he kind of you were getting ready to leave, and he made a derogatory comment towards you, and I think that was way out of line. And you give him the respect to accept his phone calls, and I just thought that was just out of line,
Which comment was that? Was that the silverback gorilla comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of that
Yeah.
was childish and immature, and I see why he admires Donald Trump so much, which that's his business, But then there was another caller after that called in. I guess he was criticizing your style, like how you say bruh, or however just your style on the radio.
Right.
And I just don't understand people. You have a right to be who you are, and I know you're going to continue to be who you are. He was kind of trying to criticize you, and we should all get along. And then the other gentleman, about I think his name was Canada or something.
Greg Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, what kills me with them is they claim to have all these values, these Christian values, and all of that, and the person that they support, he has little, if none, values at all whatsoever. The one that's running for president by the name of number 45. Let's put it that way. And I just get so irritated with them and with their family values and Christian values, like they're so above everyone, But I just mainly called to just like me shouldn't have said what he said, and you do allow him to call your show, and other shows he's not even allowed to call in. So I just want to point that out. So I just appreciate what you're doing and the information that you put out there, and just stay who you are, and that's all I want to say. I just want to thank you for what you do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, bruh, and bruh, and I appreciate the call. I tell people I've gone through this a number of times in relationship to being on the air, and it comes from men and women, black folks and white folks, because there are some sisters who don't think that I'm polished enough. That oh my God, she's so rough around the edges, and I tell everybody it's not for you then. Move up, down the aisle, go somewhere else, open your mind to a different style. But I'm not getting ready to change who I am because somebody else's value system. I'm just not getting ready to do that. And so I've had to have some behind the scenes conversations with some black women in this town, who have an idea and an image and an ideology about how they believe black women should purport themselves and present themselves. We're not all supposed to be the same. And you need all types at the table. You need all types at the table. People understood. Deal with Malcolm or deal with Martin. Deal with Martin or deal with Malcolm. Deal with, this group or deal with Elijah Muhammad. Deal with these people or deal with those people. But it's room at the table for everybody. And the fact that people try to box you in, like, wrong chick, wrong person, not gonna happen over here. So that's one thing, that I certainly concur with the caller about, people trying to tell you how you should speak. That whole idea about, we all need to get on the same page. Nobody has been on the same page since the beginning of time. That's why God gave people their own individual minds to believe and think what they wanted to. Now we can work to reach consensus. We can all try to figure out like a common goal, but we may not ever all agree on how to get there. That's why you play your lane, let them play their lane. That's why it's many positions on a team. Everybody don't play the same position. We got the same goal, but we don't play the same position. That's why, while I vehemently am opposed to many of the things that Republicans today, are about, I understand somebody got to be on that team. You need somebody in every room. Somebody got to play every position. I appreciate it. I get that. But don't get mad at me because I don't play the game the way you want it played. And my use of language like bruh, that's what I do. I have an affinity for my folks. I love my folks. And if that's what I want to call them, that's what I call them. You say what you want to say. But yeah, I heard all of the veiled shots. It's some history with the individual that was saying it. So that's the other part of it. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, you get so caught up in style, you miss the message. You get so caught up in the messenger, you miss the message. How many times have I said it? Even when I've talked about Lena, you more worried about style than substance. What did Judge Judy say? Beauty fades. Brains are forever. You get caught up in the cosmetics of it instead of what's being said, instead of what's being done, instead of the work. And as women, we get subjected to that more so than other people. And, to the point about what Meech said, I don't even know. I don't know what to say about that brother, because he is somebody I see outside of the radio station. I run into him. We always have exchanges. For the most part, I'm cool with Meech. And I realize the caricature, of the personality and the animated behavior and, to go too far and the inappropriate commentary. And sometimes what feels like just straight swinging at women and at sisters. I hear it. I see it. And yeah, I heard his comment yesterday and why that, reference would have been made in relationship to me. But you can't do nothing but take it in stride. As I said yesterday, that's what you resort to when you have nothing else. But see, it's too many people think this stuff is a game and it's a sideshow, and you here to entertain people. Let it be some entertainment with substance, though. So I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
March is Women's History Month, so we are honoring local Her Story makers. Meet Lilo Allen, the co-founder of the Brownsville Collective. The Brownsville Collective taps into your creative spirit and features over 25 local brands. Almost everything in their space is either handcrafted or designed by Black and Brown creatives. Show your support today.
This moment in women's history was brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank has more than 50 locations in the greater Milwaukee area. Visit usbank.com to find a location near you. U.S. Bank, a member of FDIC.
Black history is something to appreciate, celebrate, and participate. Play Ode is a mobile app that streams America's best Black-owned radio stations and podcasts from across the country. ODE stands for Our Digital Entertainment. Play Ode features music and entertainment for us and by us. Listen to WNOV The Voice Milwaukee on the Play Ode app. Elevate your radio listening and participate in supporting Black radio. Download PLAYODE or log on to odeaudio.com for info and insight.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something that they take well. Personally, Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't, because helping you get the coverage you want with the savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Milwaukee Allstate agent Cindy Johnson at 414-445-2558. That's 414-445-2558 today for a free quote. Home, auto, renters, condo, and more. Sydney, Nancy, and Lyndon can't wait to meet you.
Subject to terms and conditions and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
How y'all feel out there? Y'all feel all right? Look like y'all ready to drop the bomb. Oh, sexy. Good God. It's another time out, y'all. Shine the spotlight on me.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on 860 WNOV.
What was that with that head?
You know, that sounds like a little go-go out of D.C., man.
I see Buster Boo. Did you see the head, man?
No, he was too busy doing his own little move. I like that. Who is that?
Girl, you know that's Trouble Funk. Where was y'all at?
I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know.
Oh,
That's
I thought you was old enough. I just
I might be old enough. That don't mean I know all of
I
them.
was just wondering.
Yeah, that's a nice little beat. It did, though. It felt like a little go-go.
That is go-go. Trouble
Okay,
Funk.
I'm just like
Chuck Brown. I just thought you.
Oh, there it is.
No,
Okay.
not Chuck Brown, but
I was gonna say, but along that, yeah.
oh, I forgot you was in New York.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I had to get put up on
Yeah, I
go-go.
didn't know.
But no, I like that. I like that beat. Before we go to the phone line, just to remind people, today starts officially early in-person voting. So if you are getting ready for the April 2nd, 2024 spring election and presidential preferences in relationship to casting a ballot, today, March 19th through Saturday, March 30th, you can vote in a number of early vote locations. In person over at Zeiler Municipal Building, which is downtown, the new Capitol Drive Voting Center, which is on that southwest corner of 60th Street and West Capitol Drive, and Zablocki Library. Those polling locations are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sunday 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. You also have the ability to vote at some of the area libraries, Washington Park Library, Tippecanoe Library, and Good Hope Library. You can vote there weekdays 12 to 5, Saturdays 10 a.m. to 2. Also over at the UW Milwaukee Helene Zalazzo Center for the Performing Arts, 2419 East Kenwood. I'm not as familiar with that location, but you can start voting there on Monday, March 25th through Friday, March 29th. And MATC is also another voting location in the T building, March 19th today through March 28th on that Thursday from 12 to 6 p.m. So there are a number of options. Hopefully no excuse for people not voting early if that's what you choose to do. I know I got some purists. They like to vote on election day, which is April 2nd this year. But remember, we up and running for the April 2nd general election for the spring. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, now, top of the day,
What's
y'all.
up, bro?
You got it, yo. Hey, you right. You know, I tell my kids, you know, when they are young, up to the 18, don't listen to how I'm saying it. Just listen to what's being said, because I can get real funny with these words. Look at this nutty. I'm sorry, but yeah, somebody came onto the freeway and almost just rammed into a car. Didn't slow down, and just jet right into the highway. But yeah, I tell them, listen to what's being said and not how it's being said, and get the information. If it don't work, take what you can use and keep it moving.
Right.
And you're right about we all do different things, but we're trying to all get to the same place.
All right.
I feel we have to encourage and help each other, because they're not. And I done been around a lot of different races in the past 3 weeks to know they ain't no better than us. No better than us. Look, why? Actually worse. At least some people, we don't say hi to each other a lot, but at least we don't start arguing, because you don't say hi and almost get into fights. So yeah, man, people need to travel, do a little travel, go outside your comfort zone, see how things is, because it might seem like it's greater, but it's not. They just got it. It looks better on the outside than how it looks on the inside.
All right, thank you, bro.
I sent you my picture too. Did you get it?
Nope, I gotta check. When did you send it?
I sent it yesterday.
Oh no, I ain't see it. I'm gonna look for it. You sent it to me in a text message?
Yes.
Okay, I'll look for it.
I'm moving up in the world. Y'all gonna see me in a minute.
All right, I'll check for it. Thanks, bro. I appreciate the call. Like, did you see it? I missed it. Let me go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Keon.
Good morning.
Let me tell you something. You know you're doing something when people got to stoop low and call you out your name. Don't even worry about that. But I know one thing. I hope our black men that are voting Republican, your vote is worth something. Make sure you get something for it. Make sure they're putting something tangible in your hand. Make sure you leaving there with some money or a job, and not a bunch of lip songing about what's going on. You see, Trump can't raise the money, right?
Yeah, I see.
Now, see, the seeds that you plant in your life, they're going to come back to get you. This is all the years that he didn't pay the contractors and the people that he swindled. Here it all is now. Payday is in front of him. But I'm going to tell you another thing. We had better be strategically smart while we watching him act a fool over here. We better be letting people know, if you have a Republican governor, Don't let your legislator, your legislative branch be 100% in control Republicans, because then that mayor that's Democrat have his hands tied and won't get anywhere. We put people in office, and we have to be smarter about what we're doing than what we are doing. And we're not being smart strategically. Let's get out and vote. We got a machinery in place. And I'm going to tell you another thing. We need to stop telling them all our secrets on the radio. We need to start meeting, getting zones. And we need to set up an office just like the GOP has that's operating all year long, keeping our kids informed, letting them know the power that they have. Everything that Donald Trump has touched from the Supreme Court all of their way down, he has tainted it. And look at, when you compare January 6th, and you worried about the immigrants coming in, they would have never had the audacity to do what these people did. But they're privileged. They think they're entitled. And the police that work, and I'm going to tell you something, these police forces that are Donald Trump supporters, these supervisors and bosses, they better know who to be looking out for, who's going to turn a blind eye and not help us. Let's stay vigilant. They're coming for us because they fear us. Let's be on the move and do the right thing. God bless you. Be safe. And don't let names bother you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Not at all. Not at all. Not
She
at
called
all.
a few good ones herself.
Hey.
That's part of the, was that the seed you sowed? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
I don't understand.
Right. You don't understand.
Let me do this for a second, because a couple of let's take it national for a minute. A couple of the callers have made some inferences or references to things that are going on nationally. So one thing for me, the word immigration has come up. I talked about that people of African descent, African Americans here in this country, we got to be careful about how we talk about immigration. You know, people are trying to make it a wedge issue between us and members of other communities of color. That they're taking something from us. One of the things that I've stood on is that no, they're not, because these things weren't being made available to us, whether these folks had come into the country or not. They were not. They were not interested in helping with, homelessness or unsheltered people and, folks needing housing. They were not interested in making sure that there were appropriate spaces for our children to play and thrive, and employment opportunities for our families, and home ownership opportunities, and fixing, our roads and streets in our communities. A lot of these things were not happening. And but people like Donald Trump wanted to stand up at a rally and say specifically by name to Black people, y'all need to be worried about these immigrants coming in because they're trying to take your jobs. And the question is, well, what jobs are they trying to take from Black folks? What are the jobs that immigrants currently hold right now? What are they? And what are they trying to take from Black people? You got to be careful about how this stuff is talked about. The other thing, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up, is because there was a decision yesterday that came out of the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, that indefinitely blocked Texas from enforcing an immigration law that would have allowed state officials to arrest and detain people that they suspected had entered the country illegally. We talk about racial profiling. This would have been racial profiling on steroids, because that means anybody. And some folks think, oh, well, the Mexican looking people, Puerto Rican looking people, Ecuadorian looking people, they about to have a hard time. But we got immigrants that came from Haiti. We got immigrants that came from Sudan, from other countries. So anybody could have been stopped under this law from Texas. I could be stopped because do I look like I'm from, Nigeria? Do I look like I'm from, again, Haiti? I'm Black. Until I open my mouth, you don't know where I'm from necessarily. So anybody could have been, and that's the thing, when people were cheering on this law in Texas, because we've got to do something to protect our borders, not fully appreciating any of us could be a target because some hillbilly decides we look like we might be someone who has entered the country illegally. And so I got to carry papers with me. You know, in addition to my driver's license and my ID, I got to carry my freedom papers.
You got freedom papers?
I'm just saying. Your birth certificate. You got to walk around with that stuff like you in South Africa because folks going to pull you over and start harassing you. And then just because I show you my papers, you may not believe my ID is real. You might not believe that that's really my birth certificate. So I appreciate the fact that there is, at least for now, what they have called an administrative stay. But the court is still considering this whole situation. It's not a done deal. They have not told Texas that what you are thinking about doing to people is illegal. But again, understand the ramifications, y'all. If Senate Bill 4 out of Texas is allowed to stay the law of the land in Texas, and then what does that mean for other states? These people literally wanted to be able to see you walking down the street and some officer sitting in their car like, they look like they might be illegal. Let's pull them over. Let's stop them while they're walking. Let's detain them. And then you know how people get when you are unjustly, being detained. You get agitated. So you got to do self-talk to calm yourself down so the situation does not get out of control. But come on, y'all. This is a clear issue that we should all be paying attention to, no matter how you feel about illegal immigrants, because these are things that spread to American citizens. Stop and frisk. I'm looking for people who might be involved in some dirt, some illegal activity. Disproportionately Black people being pulled over and stopped and searched. Disproportionately, white people were found with more, questionable paraphernalia, things that could violate the law than those Black people that were pulled over. You understand what I'm saying? And then there were even Black people who were like, well, I'm okay with racial profiling. I'm not. You can't harass me because you think I might be up to no good. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because now I got to meet your standard of what an upstanding citizen looks like. All of it is subjective. So that young brother, oh wait, Carvey got him. The young brother with the locks and this skull cap on and this hoodie, you look like you up to no good. Let me pull you over and pat you down.
That's why I look like I'm submarine.
Yeah, you did.
I learned today.
Huh? Wait, so it's called a traffic stop, and when you get stopped while you're walking, a tinny stop.
Yeah.
And they say this is a tinny stop, you can say, I do not consent to any search. Not being detained.
So Carvey in here dropping education. The difference.
His generation been listening to the walkie-talkie.
I'm just saying.
It's a tinny search. I heard that too in the back of the car.
I've never heard of that. A tinny stop.
I mean, you was walking and they got on. But if you in the car with handcuffs on, you listening to the radio, you hear
a tinny stop.
It's a tinny stop.
Like, what does tinny mean? That's
the key word.
Like.
Like a tennis,
like tennis shoe stop.
I wonder they might make something as a tennis stop. It's like a cage car. A cage car.
See, now I'm about to call Jeff Norman. Be like, Jeff, what is a tennis stop?
No.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, they hate that.
Yeah, I mean, but the other reality is that you also, while you're educating young people about their rights, know what you can and can't, have to be subjected to when you get stopped. People also understand the power dynamic.
Right.
And while I can question and I can challenge, in that moment, you're going to have a whole bunch of parents say, I need you to do what you need to do to make it out of that situation. Mama Carvey. All right now. He said, shout out to Mama Carvey.
Just like when you are witnessing, I ain't gonna lie. Andre Lee Ellis taught me how to stop a car, pull over, and witness, turn the car back around. What you doing to these boys? You know what I'm saying? But if you 10 feet away and they trying to push you back farther, you got to be 10 feet away. I'm more than 10 feet away. My hand's in there. I ain't bothering nobody. You go back over there to do your job because they'll try to move you out the way to stop you from seeing what's going on. And if you got a crowd, just say it loud enough. Damn you.
Look,
they hate me. Damn you.
I understand. All right, let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? I'm sorry, bro. You're muffled. You got us on speaker?
I said, what's going on?
Good morning. What's going on?
This new movie that got coming out called Civil War.
Called what?
Think about it. Civil War.
Civil War?
Silver
War.
Yeah.
Okay. Not familiar with it. Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's just coming. It's trying to warn us early. So y'all get y'all stuff together. Y'all get y'all ammunition for real. Don't use it on your brothers or your sisters. Use it on when you're gonna need it in about a month or two. Soon Trump don't get his way.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that heads up. I mean, I mentioned it yesterday already, laying the foundation for if I lose, I must have been cheated. Here we go again. It's a repeat of the same old movie. Let me go to the phone line and then let me talk for a second about the other piece that one of the callers brought up in reference to the bond, because I've had a number of people reach out to say, Michelle, can you kind of Civil War? That's what I thought.
Silver War. Silver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To reach out to say, Michelle, I don't really understand that bond piece. So we'll talk about that. But let me bring this caller up. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Yes, sir.
They're doing that same kind of law in Atlanta. You and they got it set up where you can just call.
And say that you suspect somebody is an illegal?
Yeah. And I mean, and they look at this. They make it. I mean, like Haitian. And it come on now, that don't make no sense. I look like a Haitian. Yeah, you ain't gonna be. I ain't got no paper. I'm not gonna go through that.
So
you okay? That's a problem.
And I got you, bro. And thank you for the call. So this is in relationship to the bill after the young woman who was out jogging, Lakin Riley, was out jogging, and she was killed by an undocumented immigrant. And so, of course, legislation was, rushed through House Bill 1105. This young nursing student is beaten to death on the University of Georgia. She was from the University of Georgia's campus. And so, now it's like, yep, the police need to be able suspected undocumented people. This particular individual that was involved in her murder, Venezuelan. And so, it was a part of even Joe Biden's State of the Union address, as Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is from Georgia, represents a portion of Georgia, was yelling out, say her name, basically. But it's so funny. So we go say Lakin's name, which is fair, but no outcry for Breonna's name. And that's the thing. You don't want to do tit for tat, but it does become very glaring. So let me just close the loop on this real quick in terms of the bond piece. People are paying attention to the fact that President Trump, in terms of the case in New York, in which he was found guilty of fraud in relationship to the documents that he would submit to get loans, in terms of the documents and the way he evaluated his property, even probably for the purposes of taxes, that there were a number of, fraudulent activities that went on. His CFO, Chief Financial Officer, has actually served jail time because of some of this mess, is looking at going back to jail again for another 5 or 6 months in connection to the lying that was done at the behest of Donald Trump in relationship to his financial disclosures. And so Trump was ordered to pay a $464 million civil fraud judgment. Okay. Now, remember, he was big ball and shot calling not that long ago and bragging about how much money he had. his cash reserves, what he had on hand, because, hey, I'm the coldest business person to ever do it. I got more money than everybody on the planet. It is what it is. And so that's, the way he tried to present it. So you lose this judgment. You now got to fork over this $464 million while you appeal. And it's time to put up or shut up. Now, all of a sudden, guess who said I don't have no money, or I don't have that much money in terms of liquid cash on hand? I can't just take the court a check, a good check, a cashier's check, whatever you got to have. I can't just, because I said I had it, but evidently I don't have it, or I'm lying that I don't have it. Take your pick. But either way, Trump and his company need to post a bond for the full amount by next week to stop Letitia James from being able to collect while he appeals. He got to put it up by next week. Or Letitia James has said, I'm going to start forcing the sale of your assets, your real estate. We're going to start messing with your bank accounts because you're going to put this money up. New York taxpayers are not going to be cheated and swindled by you again. Trump has gone to the Court of Appeals to ask them to step in. He just did this yesterday. And because he said, I can't get any company to give me a bond on this money. People are telling me that they don't want necessarily real estate as collateral, that they want actual cash or cash equivalents, such as market securities. They don't trust Trump because, number one, if I accept your property as collateral, these are the same properties whose values you've overinflated or underinflated, depending on what you need. So you telling me this is a 15,000 square foot penthouse and it's really 10,000 square feet. But I give you a loan or back your bond based on inaccurate information about these real estate properties. So, bro, you can't be trusted on your real estate. Can't be trusted. I don't know what your stuff is worth. So you either got to have the money or you're going to give me whatever your market securities investments are as collateral. What they are saying, that these bond folks are saying, these insurance companies that would typically put up these surety bonds, they're saying that we need roughly about 120% of the judgment amount. So he doesn't just have to put up a bond for the $464 million. You got to go 20% above that. So the bond amount that he's trying to secure is about $557 million. Everybody out there hear me? Everybody understand what I'm saying? It's not just the basic. You got to have 20% above the amount that the court, that $464 million. In addition to that, the sureties would like to charge a bond premium of about 2% per year with 2 years in advance. So just on they interest, they won't, and 2% is not a lot of money, but 2% is not a high interest, but 2% on $557 million. And they want 2 years worth of interest up front. That's $18 million. They handling this dude. And so Trump is having a hard time finding anybody that's willing to mess with him. But this is the same dude who could not get a bank loan in the United States because banks had said you a bad credit risk. You don't pay your bills. That's why you get Deutsche Bank and all these foreign entities at the table, the Saudis, everybody messing with Donald Trump, because American banks was like, before he even ran for president, this goes back years that the financial institutions have said, this dude is shiesty. He don't pay his bills. He can't be trusted. No, sir. I don't care what kind of real estate you own. You're not getting no loan from this bank. Think about that. The type of real estate holdings that this man has, you should be able to secure or procure a loan from somebody. American banks stepped away years ago. But this the dude that everybody believe in can turn the economy around. You can't even handle your own personal finances. You got your CFO lying on your taxes, lying on your property valuations, just across the board. But this who gonna make America great again? The dude who right now can't find an insurance company to back him on his $464 million. But you got the plan to turn around the country. You the man with the plan. But your own house is crumbling in front of everybody. His real estate holdings, which 40 Wall Street, the Doral down in Miami, Mar-a-Lago, according to Trump, greatly exceed the judgment. But nobody will touch him. You got all of these properties supposedly worth all this money. And banks is like, I don't care. I mean, bond companies, insurance companies like, nope. You got to figure out how to get this done in a week. And this was a thing that I heard on CNN that caught my ear this morning. One of the anchors or morning talkers, he was asking a question. He said, so can anybody put up this $464 million for Trump? And the person he was talking to, because I was listening in the car, so I didn't see him. The person he was talking to, he said, yeah. He said, anybody can put up the $464 million. Like if Elon Musk wanted to give $464 million, to the courts to put this money up, he could do it on Trump's behalf. And the person said, yeah. It was like, while I know or I believe that the CNN host didn't mean it that way, it was almost like an all call was put out. Elon, you crazy like Donald Trump. You got it. Can you throw $464 million?
Child, them two together, it'll really be outer space.
I'm just saying.
Spaced out.
I'm just saying. Call us, here I come. But like literally, the way the guy from CNN did it, it was like literally like an all call. In case y'all didn't know, somebody sitting on $464 million, you can put this money up for this dude. Just like the way he has raided, he being Donald Trump, raided the coffers of the Republican National Committee to pay a bunch of his legal bills. His airhead daughter-in-law talking about that's what the party is for, that all of their money and resources would go to take care of Trump. Forget all the other candidates across the country who the RNC traditionally support. Your number one goal, in the way Trump's daughter-in-law sees it, is to support Trump. Is the tea leaves like moving for anybody yet? Do you understand what we up against yet? So it's a couple things left on the bond piece that I'll cover. Callers, I'll get you all. But we're not even just talking 464. We're talking a straight more than $500 million in cash. But he a bad businessman.
Cash money.
Businesses file bankruptcy every day. I remember that call. That don't mean you're a bad businessman because you filed business bankruptcy 7 times. That means you smart because you know how to play the system. Every dog got their day, and some got two. I'll be right back.
The Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship presents its third annual Big Head Soiree, Thursday, May 16th at the Marcus Performing Arts Center in the Bradley Pavilion. I'm Andrea Williams, and I'll be your host for this spectacular event. It's designed to salute the co-founder, Miss Radonna Rogers, as she loved to wear big hats, and this is one way we honor her. We will also celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of Milwaukee's leaders in entrepreneurial ventures.
CTE was founded with the mission in mind to help young people understand business, financial literacy, and themselves, and how they can find their way into the marketplace and be productive citizens. We have found a great way to educate, stimulate, and advance what we're doing within this community.
So ladies, this is the time to wear your big hat, and guys, your stylish fedora. You will be treated to a delectable dinner and the sounds of Soul Sirius starting at 5:30. The program will begin at 7 with more entertainment and the awards program. Tickets are just $75. Go to Eventbrite using BHS 24 or call 414-788-8104. That's 414-788-8104. This event will kick off the spring season, so don't miss it.
This is Martina Golan-Graves, President and CEO with Mental Health America of Wisconsin. I want to take a moment to remind you that your mental health matters. This time of year can be stressful, but we have programs and services committed to supporting our community. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults and kids live mentally healthier lives. We offer online screenings, outpatient therapy, and a peer-run warm line for support day and night. Call us today, 414-276-3122, or visit mhawisconsin.org to learn more about these services and more.
2024 Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash, March 31st, sponsored by the New Pitts Mortuary, located at 2031 West on Capitol Drive. Pick your tickets up 45 in advance, 50 at the door. On my way home, the Capture Spiritual. Oh, the gospel for. He's blessing me. I feel it in my feet right now. Baby, you better meet me there. Brunch at 1. The show begins at 4 p.m. The fabulous Lucky Brothers. My soul is a witness. I feel it down on the inside. Be right there at Abundant Faith, located at 7830 West Good Hope Road. Oh, Willie Rogers. We're going to a meeting on that day. I see them marching down the street. Come on in from everywhere, northwest, south. Oh, it's going down. There's a leak in this old building, Bishop Neil Robertson, and my soul has got to move. Don't you miss it. Call the New Pitts Mortuary, 414-447-6000. It's going down at the Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. Oh, I gotta stop right there, Bryant. Back in top. My feet got light. I feel myself flying right about now. Come on now. You don't want to miss it. Be right there in the house. It's going down. Come on now, Tiffany Jerry. Everybody know he's my friend. Oh, you don't want to miss it. You be right there. That Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. That food is going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. I'll tell you, come on now, Reverend R.L. Bush and the Revived Sons. Put the weight on me. Oh, not that kind of weight, because that food gonna be so scrumptious. Pick your tickets up at the New Pitts Mortuary. Tickets are also available at Nick Avani's and Mayfair Mall on the 2nd floor.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Engine number 9, take 1.
Keep on moving. 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 Ow! Keep on moving. Engine number 9. Can you get me back on time? down the track. Keep that steam coming out the stack. Huh. Keep on moving. Move on. Move on. Move on.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
I'm just saying, as I listen to Engine Number 9, keep on moving down the line, and I think about folks about jumping on the Trump train. it just seemed apropos for the moment because the Trump train is completely off the rails. No matter what it looks like at the RNC, this man's house is raggedy as hell. And everybody, if you paying attention, it's right there.
Raggedy is what?
You heard.
No, it's the way you said it. She said, hell.
I'm just saying, like, when you, so you brag about, I got it, bruh. My paper is long. What my girl say the other day when she was doing 21 questions? I got the means to buy anything I want, basically was the line, was the bar. And here this dude is, you just got done hyping your financial situation. And now, originally you went into ask the court to lower the bond to $100 million instead of $464 million. Now your lawyers is back in court saying we shouldn't have to pay this amount at all while we're going through the appeal process. And the judge is like, this stay is in order until, or in effect, until March 25th. And all these appeals and everything y'all trying to do, all the way up to the state's highest court, the Court of Appeals for the state of New York. Yeah, even while that's happening, March 25th is when my order expires. So Letitia James could easily be at you. And they're like, this amount of money is ungodly. It wasn't ungodly when your boy was bragging about how much he had. And then, you help people understand your wealth because you running your mouth. You was the one bragging in a courtroom that, I'm a big baller shot caller. I got like $500 million in the bank immediately at my disposal. You told people how much money you said you had. You wasn't being truthful.
How you gonna call me like you said you would?
You're not you're not being truthful. Cause see, putting up that $91 million on that E. Jean Carroll case done hit a brother's pockets too. And so we're gonna wait. We waiting till March 25th. Because March 26th, it's a fire sale going on.
It's going down in it in.
Let me go to the phone line. Hey caller, what's happening?
Hey Michelle, just 1 second. You turn my speaker.
Okay.
I like how you talk on the phone and your English, okay, on the radio. So blow. Those things, anything, somebody don't like you on the radio station, they need to tune to another one. And the only reason why they listen to you on our station, because 6:20 a.m. is only a topic they're going to talk about, and you can't talk about anything else. And you're lucky if your voice don't sound black that you'll get on there. So this is the platform for the Republicans and Mitch and them. They get on here because they have no other station to go to, okay? They have no other station to go to, so they want to come on this station. But I bet they don't go to the Republican big meetings. I'm talking about the white Republican meetings, not the meeting that you went to, okay? So, keep what you do. And I'm going to tell you something, Michelle. You're the woman of the year when it comes to Milwaukee for Women's Day. You and Lena, y'all been doing stuff for years helping out the community, okay? So we can pick out people right here locally. The Women of the Year, Women of the Month in March, I'm putting Michelle, Lena up, and a bunch of other people up, okay? Y'all to keep doing what y'all doing. I don't have time for all this. Calling on the shit y'all want to criticize somebody. That's why we're not together now. And one thing I was going to ask you, can you go to the referendum? Yesterday, a gentleman was on there with Kiana, Republican, and there's 2 other referendums on the ballot for people to vote. And if they can kind of clarify that a little bit, more about, I was reading it today, if you can do that at all.
Yep, nope, I'm happy to do that. I'll do it in just a moment.
Well, and it may be just even up until election time periodically so people can understand. And I always heard, if you don't know what you're looking at, don't say yes, just say no. And in the school system, I'm going to call it news. they asking for this money, but they didn't say what they did with the stimulus money they got to keep, and then the money they got before that, before COVID, and then you asking for more money. Like somebody just said, we need to really look at this better. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, what about the children? I'm gonna tell you about the children. I'm going to tell you, I got 100% right on it. I'm going to tell you how you take care of the children. If you can't take care of your children, foster care is out there. My name is Kathy. You can give them to me. Because whether I have kids, don't have kids in the system, I can be better than somebody that do have them in the system. And so can you, because they're not being treated right at home and they're failing in school. Don't just blame all the teachers, okay? And at one point, you're going to have a teacher that's a great teacher, going to be a burnout, and your kid going to be sitting there because you come up to the school telling them, you got to pass my baby. Then your baby try to go to a regular school or technical school or any kind of school or go to work to learn something. They don't know nothing.
Okay.
They don't know a damn thing.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate the call. And I certainly had planned to walk through the referendums. I talked about it for a minute on Keith's show yesterday. George had called in asking a question about them. As soon as I take this call, I'll walk through them again real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, sister. How you feel?
I'm good, bro. How you doing this morning?
Hey, what's up, KJM? How you doing, man?
It's all right, are you? All right.
Hey, I'm doing all right, my brother. I appreciate it. Hey, Sister Bryant, I got a couple things I want to say here. I got, I guess, a comment and a question. I know you had talked about Elon Musk.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, did you see the interview that Don Lemon did with him?
No, I did not.
Okay, see if you can check that out.
Okay.
I think it was just yesterday or last night or something.
Right
He did
now.
the interview.
Yep.
Okay. And from what Elon said, his statement was, I know you said that Elon could write that check for, that could help Trump. From what he said in the interview last evening, that he's not going to help either Biden or Trump. Okay. So, but that was some words that just came out. So that was just something I wanted to make a comment on that. And I had a question on this. I think I'm a little confused on this one. Help me out with this one. I think I might have the answer, but I want to hear different viewpoints on this. Okay, so we got this sister named this is Sister Girl, right? Okay, Sister Girl coming here with her T-shirt on saying woman power, right? Women power, right?
Okay.
Okay, then after her, brother man walk in and say Black Lives Matter, right? Power to the people. Like I always like to end my my comments, power to the people, correct?
Okay.
Okay. Now we got this Peter to come in and say white power, right? Okay. Now I just gave you 3 different shirts that came in, right? What is the difference between those 3? Now somebody's gonna see that white power, especially if Peter came down here on 8th and Atkinson and go in that gas station and say white power. They're gonna either consider him a white nationalist or a white supremacist. Now, I play golf. I go everywhere and recognize my people. Now, if I go down to, I'm just gonna use this golf course, country club that I go to in Waterford, Wisconsin, Rivermore. I go down there. I have 3 other brothers. We take our own foursome. So I represent. You might even see a Black Power thing on one of my shirts that I might wear. Now, what is the difference between Billy coming on 8th and Atkinson wearing that white power shirt that he want to believe in with his people? He may not even be a nationalist or a white supremacist. What's the difference between those 3 shirts that I said? Can you elaborate on that? You understand what I'm asking for?
I do, and I'll give it my best shot.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up because I really want to hear, because I know people are going to call in and give their opinion on it.
Okay.
And I'm not opinionated one way or the other. I'm just trying to understand. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do. I think I do, and I'm gonna give it my best shot.
Give your best shot. Power to the people. I'm
All
gonna hang up, okay?
My man. All right. So if I remember the example, the way the brother laid it out, you got a woman that walks into a venue or a spot. She has on a women power T-shirt. You have a brother or sister that walks in, same situation, but they got on a Black Lives Matter T-shirt. And then final example, you got a white guy that walks, comes down on 8th Accent into the hood somewhere. He got on a white power T-shirt. The differences between those shirts, and the implications and the messages that are being sent. I think for me, when I look at it and what the real difference is the fact that one of those shirts actually represents policy. It actually represents the law of the land for most of this country's inception. One of those shirts spoke to the dominance of white people in this country over everybody else. So you don't see Black Lives Matter and go to the founding of this country. go to chattel slavery, go to Jim Crow laws and the denial of voting rights. That is a loaded phrase when you start talking about white power with real historical implications. Women power, we talked about yesterday, and this being Women History Month, the ability of women to fight for the right to vote, the fact that women, are still paid 71 cents on the dollar to their male counterpart, even when they have the exact same resume, education credentials, in some cases more, that men are still paid more than women. So this fight for the ability for women to be recognized as a equally valuable member of society. Even though it's a long fight, it's still a fight that's in process. Women are still fighting to this day to be paid fairly. The first bill that Barack Obama signed when he became president of the United States, the Lilly Ledbetter Law. And Lilly Ledbetter was a conservative. She was a Republican. But she found out after she had retired from the Firestone Tire Company that her white male counterpart had been paid significantly more than her, even though they were doing the same job and she had more experience and she was, she was longer in the role. But the statute of limitations had run out for her to be able to go back and challenge the company that there was pay discrimination happening based on gender. So women power is still a concept that people are fighting for, but it does not come with that nuance that everyone else is inferior because women are trying to assert their rights and their rightful place in the world. Black Lives Matter. People go very specific. They talk about, the deaths of unarmed Black people at the hands of law enforcement. They talk about systemic, structures that are put in place that are intended to keep, what Reverend Sharpton and them all say, get your knee off my neck, back to George Floyd. So these are very targeted issues when Black folks are talking about, Trayvon Martin's life mattered. 12-year-old Tamir Rice's life mattered as he holds a toy gun in a park. And the caller to 911 says there's a young man in the park with a gun. I believe it might be a toy, but somebody ought to check it out. And the police arrive on the scene, and in 1.3 seconds, Tamir Rice is dead. In 1.3 seconds, Tamir Rice was murdered by the police. They didn't see a 12-year-old child who they had told this might be a toy gun. The officer stepped out the car, his door opened, he took aim, he killed Tamir Rice. So Black Lives Matter is not intended to say that nobody else is significant, nobody else is important. But I need people to appreciate that we are being harmed in a way that's inequitable, that's unfair. It's not a historically loaded term in terms of Black folks asserting a fight to be valued. But white power in this country and around the world, you could say white power around the world, and there are implications. So for me, that's the difference, is the historical, institutional practices and systems that come with the ideology or the belief of white power. That's why it strikes fear. That's why it makes people take notice. That's why it causes concern, because I can directly draw a line from that phrase to the maltreatment, mistreatment, unjust treatment of people of color, not just here in America, but around the world because of white supremacist ideologies. That for me is the difference. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle and Kia.
Hey, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm just fine. I'm listening to what you're talking about, and I totally agree. And I love you because you you fight for us. And I'm out here too. I'm not out, on the ground like you are. But when people come to me, because when they do all this stuff that they're doing and everything is blackface, that's evil, I have to speak up for us. And I think a lot of black people forgot because, when they started talking about, they created the crime. How they did the city. There's no money for the city. So you got to let everything rot and you create the crime. And then you said it's black people's fault. But anyways, when you mentioned Tamir, remember they threw his sister down too. She was trying to come to her brother's rescue.
Right. That's right.
And they threw his sister on the ground.
Right.
And then I was just going to say too real fast that now you were speaking of the immigrants. Now, like I retired from Rockwell. It was Alan Bradley at the time when I started. Now, I remember when that NAFTA came in and they started moving corporations and stuff out of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had, they from what I understood, that they had immigrants working on like the farmland, like that Kathleen Gifford. She even had immigrants, young kids, working on her little land because she was had a little clothing line,
Right.
established.
I remember.
But what I'm saying, it's not us taking the job. These big corporations move the job offshore, and they offshore to make money, and then they turn around and say, they're buying all this stuff in here from China and all of that because we want cheap products. And I'm saying, I don't want that old stuff. The buttons fall off and the zippers fall off, and they're on the floor at Boston store.
Mm.
This is a big thing, and then they turn around and blame we the people, and the one that gets hurt to me the most is black people because everything is criminal with us. So I'm thinking by them easing up laws for guns, it makes us a target, like a prime target.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
that's kind of what I want to say with the NAFTA and the CAFTA and all of this when they move the jobs out. Blame the corporations. They're the ones that's doing it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. The one thing I will always say, though, when we talk about the corporations, who runs the corporations? These are not just, robots and entities on their own. These are individual people who are making these decisions. I think about when, some of these big banks decided to go in and fraudulently open accounts in the names of people who had accounts at their banks to shore up their numbers. And nobody went to jail for that, really. Because the corporation did it. No, these were decisions being made by people. It's funny to hear Donald Trump, rail against China and jobs and like everything you was making, you was sending overseas. Everything you was making because everybody looking for that cheap labor. Everything you was making. I looked at like the Make America, the MAGA hats are available in Walmart. Somebody need to flip them hats and see where them hats is made. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
Increasing taxes while families are paying more for everything from gas to groceries is wrong. Milwaukee voters should oppose increasing property taxes by nearly 30% in order to provide increased funding yet again to Milwaukee Public Schools. They've already wasted nearly $1 billion in new taxpayer funding, and now they want more? They don't even have a plan on how they'll spend it. Enough is enough. Milwaukee voters should just say no.
Paid for by Enough is Enough. Vote no.
Hi,
Hi there, I'm Deslyn Smith, the Executive Director of United Garden Homes Incorporated, the proud sponsor of the Nayumbu Opendo Show, broadcasting on WNOV on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Poverty, illicit behaviors, drug abuse, and addiction have been affecting the quality of life for decades, not only in the Garden Homes neighborhood, but within disenfranchised communities throughout our country. United Garden Homes Incorporated is a neighborhood association-based, nonprofit organization committed to supporting individuals and families to see beyond their current situation by way of education in mental health, substance misuse, and violence prevention, as well as with the utilization of resource advocacy to empower and promote healing in our community. For more information, contact United Garden Homes Incorporated at 414-554-5538 or via email at info@ughinc.org.
Make it a real Mad March with a playoff payout at Potawatomi. Every week, you could score your share of $100 grand in cash and free play. Play this March for drawing entries. Win each Thursday. Plus, the prizes refresh every week for even more winners. The playoff payout at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. It's anyone's game. For more details, visit paysbig.com/payout. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program end of the season is approaching. Don't miss out on benefits and help with your weed energy bill. Just go to keepwarmmke.org. It's made it easy for you to schedule an appointment. You may also call 414-270-4653. Don't delay. Call us today. Again, that's 414-270-4653. Or visit us online at keepwarmmke.org. This is administered by the State of Wisconsin Home Energy Plus program.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
DJ and some say Harvard, that ain't true, it's the only dance that a pair can do. Say bound to the right, bound to the left, you can back here, bound by yourself. And what you do, just let me know. I know the spot where we can go, but first, you gotta do this dance. When you back here, bounce, you get one chance. If you fall, then it's not for you. But if you fly, then you true, and you gotta be real. And don't fake it, you don't bounce hard enough. You won't make it, the early bird, get the worm. Back here, bounce here, it's my turn. Stop me, get this my dog, back here, bounce. More bounce to the way to the ounce. If I bounce down, I bounce up. Bankhead, yeah, what's up? Those suckers don't know what I'm saying. Get off the wall, let me see you dance. Cause it ain't no party like a kilo party. Cause the rest of you party won't hit. And I bump the Lord, I won't bump no more with a big fat overweight shred. Cause it out with the old and then with the new. Bankhead bounce, now what you gon' do? Bankhead bounce better than all of them. I say, ooh, damn, put your hands in the air and do it just like that. Hold on, wait a minute, bring it on back. Let's go, get this my dog, bankhead bounce. Get out, slip, slide, stop. Everybody drop. You ain't never been down to a zero, but you got the nerve to talk about keto. Ain't no love for the scrubs in the lane. They hate to see me when I do my thing. Deep in the jungle, that's where you can find me. But lions and tigers and bears all around me. Represent, that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of you. I don't need no publicity. And I don't wanna know, did you miss me? Of course you did. Now back here, bounce you crazy. Don't forget this my dog. Back here, bounce.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on 860 WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Michelle Bryant, Say Something Real here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. Before I go to the phone line, let me just take a second to say, today begins the day. What did Donald Trump say? I am your retribution. Today begins the day when some accountability happens for 6 police officers down in Rankin County in Mississippi who love to refer to themselves as the Goon Squad. 6 white police officers. I talked at length about the case that they were involved in 2023 when they burst into a home occupied by 2 brothers, 2 black men without a warrant, and proceeded to abuse these men in their homes, ultimately culminating with one of the officers putting a gun in the mouth of one of the young black men in the home and shooting him in the mouth. These are all police officers, big white country boys that just went into this home and started harassing these 2 black men in the home. They put them in the shower together, nude, and tried to make them have sex with each other. Do you remember this situation? This happened last year down in Rankin County in Mississippi, and the 2 brothers, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, the 2 men were handcuffed, subjected to hours of assault in which they were repeatedly beaten, shot, and a bunch of racial slurs thrown around. And then, like I said, ultimately, one of the officers put a gun in the mouth of Michael Jenkins and shot the gun, cutting his tongue and breaking his jaw with the bullet. He didn't die. No, he didn't die. In fact, he was in court testifying in terms of what the sentences are, because they've now been found guilty. And now we're waiting because, 3 of the officers actually pled guilty. But wait, they pled guilty to a separate incident because they was equal opportunity on some level, because they had assaulted a 28-year-old young white victim. And we never got the full details on what they did to this young white person. So they pled guilty to that. They tried to stand on their innocence when it came to these black men. But they have a record of violent encounters with other people. They've left people dead in other situations. The Rankin County Sheriff's Department is facing a $400 million lawsuit for failing to properly train these officers. But see, this is not about training. This has nothing to do with training. If you're willing to put 2 black men in a shower and try to make them have sex with each other, there's nothing in the police manual training book for that. This is not about training. Unless you're talking about home training. Innate humanity training. This you can't learn that in the police department. Not to take out your sexual fantasies or your visions of torture or whatever that looks like. So right now, these men sentences should start coming down today. This torture went on over the course of 2 hours. They are looking at 5 of the officers are facing a maximum of 20 years in prison. The 6 could get 30 years in prison. But, and while neither of these brothers died, it just don't seem like 20 years is enough. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just, it's personal, but it just does not seem like 20 years is enough. Because when you wear the badge and the shield or the shield and you work for the police department, it's a different set of behaviors that's expected. You abuse public trust. I got people in jail for far less for long periods of time. Remember 3 strikes you out in California, which ultimately people figured out was wrong. But you could go to jail forever, for life.
Forever,
ever. And a day.
Ever and a day.
So we gotta make sure we mention that we're keeping an eye on that today to see what this looks like. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see how these sentences begin to roll out for these officers, and the fact that you have so few officers that rushed to the mic to say this was wrong. Now, let somebody do something to an officer, they're gonna break their neck. You know, the flags come out. You know, you got the whole TV coverage, you got the whole 9 yards. But when they do something wrong, not a word from the union, not a word from, anybody of any real significance other than a direct supervisor, maybe, or the chief of the department. This was out of order. It's not reflective of who we are. I don't know. So let me back up the question that was posed by one of the callers regarding the referendums. Take a quick second to talk about that. So on the ballot, again, you got two statewide referendums. You got the local referendum. Milwaukee residents are being asked to consider a referendum in which about $252 million by way of a tax increase would go to help Milwaukee Public Schools. This measure is on the ballot. There is a whole campaign called the Vote Yes for MPS bill, or campaign, I should say. And you have folks from, every walk of political life that are getting involved in this. You got Milwaukee area state senators. You have state representatives from Milwaukee who are all saying, yes, we should support this. There's actually a news conference being held today with these legislators to talk about support for this referendum, just as early voting is beginning. So there are people from Milwaukee that support it. I think I saw a flyer that said like Josh Call supported it, Sarah Godlewski supported it. There's a number of people, Congresswoman Moore, I think, if I got the right piece of lit in terms of people supporting it. But basically, the MPS Board of Directors approved a $252 million plan that would give the district, a boost to its budget over the next 4 years. And voters are being asked to decide whether or not they are with it. There has been some misinformation, so let's be clear. If you are the owner of a home valued at $100,000, not $250,000, not substantially more. If you are the owner of a home valued at $100,000, if the referendum passes, that means that your property taxes will increase by $216 at $100,000. So if your home is $150,000, $200,000 and up, that increase is higher than $216. 78% of Milwaukee voters approved an $87 million referendum, approved an $87 million for a 4-year referendum a while ago. Okay. So we've even had a caller to the show who mistakenly gave misinformation. If you have a home valued at $100,000 minimum, you can expect to see a property tax increase of about $216 a year. Over the course of years, that money adds up. MPS has said that their per pupil state funding has not kept up with inflation. Instead, it has led to a $33,000 gap per student over 15 years. And, we know the Scott Walker administration, Republicans gutted K-12 education. They did not fund it at, a rate that was fair. Or, we used to talk about the funding flaw all the time. That was one of Senator Taylor's, she harped on that on a regular basis, the funding flaw in relationship to area public schools and what needed to be done to address that. During a last-ditch effort to try to bolster a fledgling presidential campaign, you see Scott Walker and Republicans decide to pour some resources back into MPS, but they have been cutting them for so long, we're not made whole. One of the things that folks have asked the question about is, so exactly how is this money going to be used? Because if you tell me for teacher raises, are you talking about infrastructure improvements? Like, how does this directly impact the performance of Milwaukee public school children. And you would just think by now that somebody from MPS would have reached out even to my show. I know I've talked to school supervisor, board supervisor Aisha Carr, who's, always makes herself available. But to begin to try to explain this to residents, why people, and I think they've been on some other shows for sure. But like, why? Like, why is this important? What should we be doing? And there are people that say, well, what do you do with the money you already have? I'm not saying that I believe you have enough, but make sure I know that you're good stewards of the money that we giving you. Then the other question becomes, because you already came a few years ago, you back again. Is this enough, or will I expect to see you in 3 more years? These are questions that's out there. But one of the things that I said yesterday, people have to vote their conscience. Vote what you think is best. But I think it's fair to ask MPS questions about where this money is going. Because if somebody say, well, we can use it for teacher raises. But if I got teachers getting raises who can decide they don't want to work at North Division, or they don't want to work at other troubled and failing schools, then that's problematic for me. Don't spend my money like that. So either way, that's one of the referendums. Let me go to the phone line real quick. I got somebody that's been holding. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, good morning.
Michelle.
Yes, sir.
You were talking earlier, and the guy that you were talking with, I guess that you kind of bumping heads with on Saturday from what it sounds like.
Wait, say it again.
The guy that you it made it seem like you were bumping heads at some at Meech's thing on Saturday.
Yeah, at the town hall. Yes.
And I guess he must have called in yesterday.
Yeah, Greg Kennedy called in the Keith show yesterday.
Yeah, I was listening. It was irritating me because when you ask a question, don't deflect. Answer the question. So if you can really stand behind your argument or your point, answer the question. Don't deflect off of the question. Answer the question. Because Keith asked him, he said, well, you guys claim to be the party of family values, but the head of the party doesn't believe in family values. Matter of fact, he don't have any values at all. That's the way I look at him. You know what he told Keith? He said, that's unfair.
Well, yeah, I heard it. I heard it.
For you to say that about him.
Right.
And I'm like scratching my head and all the stuff that you just said. Or if anybody is listening from the Democratic Party, this man owes all this money. Nobody can secure his bond, right?
Well, they're not trying to.
We forget so fast. So go back, Republican Party, Democratic Party, run an ad, con, cheat, all this kind of stuff, and then put up where he said, oh, I'm very rich. I'm so rich. I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. But he's steady begging. So all this stuff, go talk, attack him about he done had 3 wives, why his wife is pregnant. He's messing around with a stripper, all this kind of stuff. Hit this dude so hard that he can't answer anything because this is what he likes to do. He's a master at using the court system. Whether he wins or he loses, he's going to try and tie you up, tie money up, tie you up. He's going to try and just hold out for so long that you get tired and you forget this dude is something evil about him. I want to ask you a question. When he had that Bible upside down, do you think that was an accident or on purpose?
I honestly think it was an accident, but I mean, it's somebody who clearly don't read the Bible. I mean, I'm just sorry. I don't think that it was a whole lot of thought put into, let me send some subliminal message or let me send some message. I just think you're an idiot and he didn't pay attention to it. And it's clearly not a book you're familiar with, just like you didn't know how to say 2 Corinthians, it's like, come on, man. So no, I don't think that it was done intentionally, but it was just ignorance.
I just think that man is so evil, Michelle. He is so evil. And I'm going to tell him something. He needs to keep his mouth shut. I don't know if you watch Michelle for the last month or so. My favorite guy to watch at 10:30 is Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh,
You
yeah.
better leave Jimmy Kimmel. You better leave Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. If y'all didn't see Jimmy Kimmel last night, Google it. Jimmy Kimmel ate his butt up last night. But it's something morally to corrupt with this guy. And if these people, especially you black men, stop defending this guy. Stop. This party is not a family value. You may be conservative in your thoughts, but he is. Party is not.
All right.
Y'all need to stop it.
Thank you, Brian.
Michelle.
All right, now I'm up against the break, y'all. Let me take one. Michelle Bryant, say something real. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hey, this is School Board Director Daryl Jackson, who represents District 3 for MPS.
MPS School Board Director Aisha Carr, representing District 4.
Tune in this Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. as we discuss
all things MPS referendum and as we talk about the state of emergency in education in the city of Milwaukee.
This is Martina Golan-Graves, President and CEO with Mental Health America of Wisconsin. I want to take a moment to remind you that your mental health matters. This time of year can be stressful, but we have programs and services committed to supporting our community. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults and kids live mentally healthier lives. We offer online screenings, outpatient therapy, and a peer-run warm line for support day and night. Call us today. 414-276-3122 or visit mhawisconsin.org to learn more about these services and more.
Do you love Jamaican food? Well, visit Fireside Jamaican Cuisine new location at 7434 West Capitol Drive. Stop in for your Jamaican fix. Jerk chicken, oxtails, jerk egg rolls, and more. Daily specials will be available along with the original menu items from the previous Villa Avenue location. Business hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sundays, 12 p.m. to 8. For more information, please call 414-509-5579. 414-509-5579.
2024 Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Band, March 31st, sponsored by the New Pitts Mortuary, located at 2031 West on Capitol Drive. Pick your tickets at 45 in advance, 50 at the door. On my way home, the Canton Spiritual. Oh, the gospel for he's blessing me. I feel it in my feet right now. Baby, you better meet me there. Brunch at 1. The show begins at 4 p.m. The fabulous Lucky Brothers. My soul is a witness. I feel it down on the inside. Be right there at Abundant Faith, located at 7830 West Good Hope Road. Oh, Willie Rogers. We're going to a meeting on that day. I see them marching down the street. Come on in from everywhere, northwest, south. Oh, it's going down. There's a leak in this old building, Bishop Neil Robertson, and my soul has got to move. Don't you miss it. Call the New Pitts Mortuary 414-447-6000. It's going down at the Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. Oh, I gotta stop right there, Bryant. Back in top. My feet got light. I feel myself flying right about now. Come on now. You don't want to miss it. Be right here in the house. It's going down. Come on now, Tiffany Terry. Everybody know he's my friend. Oh, you don't want to miss it. You be right there at that Soul Stirring Gospel Easter Bash. That food is going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. I'll tell you, come on now, Reverend R.L. Bush and the Revived Sons. Put the weight on me. Oh, not that kind of weight, because that food gonna be so scrumptious. Pick your tickets up at the New Pitts Mortuary.
Tickets are also available at Nicavani's and Mayfair Mall on the second floor.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Are you ready to make a lasting impression? Look no further than Great Impressions Graphics and Printing. With over 25 years of excellence in the industry, we specialize in delivering top-notch printing solutions tailored to your corporate needs. Business cards, brochures, banners, annual reports, apparel, and promotional items. Our state-of-the-art technology ensures unmatched quality and precision. Call 414-536-7646 or visit greatimpress.com today to learn more. Trust Great Impressions to exceed your expectations and elevate your brand to new heights.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the last couple of minutes of the show. Let me just take a second. Caller, here I come. You know, it's just amazing to me what people do and what people think is okay. So there is an award given in Ruth Bader Ginsburg's honor. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former U.S. Supreme Court Justice who passed away, RBG, as people, affectionately called her. And the award was canceled this year because the foundation, the Dwight Oppenheimer Foundation, who gives the award, they wanted to give the award to Elon Musk, Rupert Murdoch, Martha Stewart, Michael Milken, and Sylvester Stallone. and Ruth Bader Ginsburg's family was like, so y'all done lost y'all whole mind, right? Do y'all know who she was and what she fought for? And you got a bunch of criminals and felons mixed up in this. No disrespect to people with a felony record, but are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? And these are not people with redemptive qualities in some of these cases. Like, seriously? You want to give Elon Musk an award under Ruth Bader Ginsburg's name? Okay, moving on. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Mr. Jackson Malone. Michelle, I have a question for you, and then I'm also make a comment.
Okay.
The MPS referendum asking for approximately $230 million.
Yep.
Okay, and at the same time, not one of those senators or people that you may have mentioned that was in support of it, not a single one of those people said anything about that residency requirement they should bring back. Because they studied rape in this city for money, but at the same time, nobody's being accountable for what they should be doing, and that is that tax base returning back to the city of Milwaukee, but they study asking for millions of dollars. I haven't heard not one of them speak out against that. And I think it should be a flat out no for that $230 million, because once that money hit the hands of MPS, those people are able to do whatever the heck they want to do with that $230 million, because what happened, it would die down and be quiet, nobody say anything once monies like that are being allocated. So once the money hits their hand, they're able to do whatever they want with it.
All right.
Particularly when it comes to the salaries of a lot of those people that don't even live here.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. And just so we clear, add another 22 million to it. It's roughly about $252 million. And, I think that some of those people most likely certainly said something about the residency requirements when they changed, back then, but to keep up that steady drumbeat that we should be able to have residency requirements, because we do know so many people work for the city, work for the school district, and then they no longer live within the city. Those dollars are not recycled within the city. So I certainly get that piece of it. But I think that, the people that are calling for the dollars, it also has to be that they can make the case for how MPS has been good stewards of the money that they've had. And I'm going to just tell you, I talked to some old school teachers who also said this. There were people with far less resources who were better educated than we see now. Going back to the 50s and 60s, and while we realize all the different outside things that play into an educational system, the challenges by way of, drugs and family situations, it's a number of variables that have to do with academic performance these days. But it's just a ton of people that's just not impressed that we already getting bang for buck, and we bleeding money to choice schools. People who don't want to send their children to MPS, but they want taxpayers to pay for them to have a choice to send their kids to a private school or to a religious school or to a whatever school. And in some cases, it's not even about income anymore, because some of the income guidelines have been changed, where this was meant to help people that were, financially strapped, who didn't have the ability to make a choice because of their economic station. Now you're seeing more and more middle class, upper middle class families able to send their kids to schools of their choice that they typically would have had to pay out of pocket for, because Republicans keep moving the bench. If Polly Williams was alive, she would tell you, like, this some nonsense. This was not what I was fighting for when I was talking about school choice. Somebody else said, not to mention Keith Posley does not deserve his salary for failing the school district, $300,000. Wow, no accountability. The one thing I would tell you is that Keith Posley is not failing the district by himself. Keith Posley also has to do, to some, degree, what he is directed to do by the school board. He does have a ton of latitude, but the district was failing before Keith Posley took office. Let's just be clear and be fair. It was failing before he got there. All right, y'all. I got to get out of the way. Callers, unfortunately, I have hit my time. I appreciate everybody that called in today, and I will check y'all out again tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah. Mr. Carvey, the goats, my people. Appreciate you. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
You're listening to